Welcome to FX Options University, recorded live at the International Securities Exchange, the world's largest equity options exchange. Join the industry's top trading professionals as they provide insight and strategies for trading in the currency markets using FX options. FX options are a low-risk alternative to hedging currency moves in any market condition.
Welcome, everyone. This is Steve Meisinger, your host for today's ISE webinar. Today, we're going to have a great webinar. We actually will have two presenters, John Netto, and John's been with us many times. He's the president of One Shot, One Kill Trading. John trades his account each and every day. He's very much involved in the markets. We also have Fotis Papatheofanous, and Fotis, he's actually in Greece. So this is it's a very interesting perspective that Fotis has. He's actually in Greece, so he can tell us sort of a historical background on what's happened there in Greece over the last couple of decades, what's happened in the last couple of years, and what he sees for the future. So we have this tag team of both John and Fotis, and it's going to be a great webinar. I'm glad you're all here today. If you want to learn more about options, continue to come to the FX Options site, fxoptions.com. Also, you can go to optionseducation.org. Any of the examples today will not include taxes, margin, or commission. Options, of course, can be dangerous, so you need to understand the risks and rewards of any options transaction. You should never trade any options strategies without understanding the risks of the trades, not only the rewards. We have plenty of currency pairs that you can trade. You just need to have an equity options brokerage account. They are exchange-listed securities. They are cash settled in U.S. dollars. They're European-style exercise, which just means that you can't exercise early, but you can always close out of your transaction anytime you'd like, as long as the markets are open. They can be traded as spreads. We have per U.S., so we have U.S. dollar based, and we also just added over about 5 or 6 months ago, we have in U.S., we have the Aussie dollar, the British pound, the euro, and the New Zealand dollar, and we also have our dollar-based products. And if you want to learn more about our product, go to www.fxoptions.com. We have tons of tools there. There's a trader forum. You can ask me questions. We just had a trading contest. We are soon to be delivering an option SKU for all the FX options products. So I think that it's a great resource. Please bookmark that FX options site. At this point, I want to introduce both John Netto, the author of One Shot, One Kill Trading. He is the president of that firm, One Shot, One Kill, and he does a lot of consulting with derivatives exchanges. He's written a book. I also want to introduce Fotis Papatheofanous, and he will be talking about his perspective in Greece. So let me just unmute both John and Fotis, and we're ready to go. We're going to learn more about using FX options to trade the European debt crisis. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Steve, and thank you, Fotis, who took time out of his schedule. For those of you familiar with some of the time zone dynamics, Fotis is joining us from Greece. Well, I believe it's, 11:34 at night there right now. I think they're 2 hours ahead of London.
Yeah, 11:30.
Yeah, 11:34 at night. So this is obviously a subject that Fotis feels a great deal of passion about. He's written extensively about it in a number of different European publications overseas, comes from a statistical background. So again, I just can't thank him enough for taking the time out. In terms of my background, I think it's important as we talk about, a lot of us watch the news and a lot of us pay attention to different drivers and different catalysts out there. And when we do that, for me, and the perspective I take as a trader, and what I hope to add to this presentation is what sentiment is driving the market. We've seen a lot of intraday geopolitical moves take place, and The goal that I have today is along with Fotis, that we can provide you guys a perspective to better assess and gauge what is driving sentiment of the market and how sentiment is acting. My book, One Shot, One Kill Trading, can show you from a technical perspective, whether sentiment is bullish or sentiment is bearish. And by bullish sentiment, I mean that, if the market sells down, they're buying dips. And by bear sentiment, I mean that, if the market puts in rallies, they're selling those rallies. So we've seen an equity market, and there's been a bit of a dichotomy, but we've seen an equity market that has been, very bullish sentiment, and this stretches across the FTSE, the Dow Jones Euro Stocks, even the native equity markets, or at least the large equity markets, I should say, Euro Stocks 50, FTSE, S&P, some of the emerging markets as well have kind of shrug this off as we attack 18-month highs right now across the equity spectrum. This has not been the case for some of the currencies out there. We have seen strength. Aussie dollar's really not that far off of highs as it kind of stays outside of the scope. But in terms of the British pound, the euro itself, Swiss franc with the Swiss National Bank, there's a bit of a different dynamic there. But overall, though, from today's presentation, you guys should have a pretty good gauge and pretty good vibe in terms of how you want to can go about doing this. Now, a little bit about Fotis, as I introduce him. Or in terms of the presentation and overview, I want to provide a background and chronology for the European debt crisis. I'm going to go over some of the metrics in building a dynamic volatility portfolio across currencies and commodity-based currencies, and then offer ideas and strategies. And I'm going to talk about a free live trading event that I'm doing, where I'm going to take a lot of the concepts we talk about today and actually put them into practice. So we'll give you guys the base and the structure today, and I'll follow it up with a free event in a week from now. So that's a little bit of the outline of how we're going to proceed forward. In terms of Fotis, like I talked about, here's a bit of his background here, and I'm going to go and hand over the mic to Fotis and let him take over some of the fundamental and chronology of what led to this crisis.
Yes, hello everybody, and I would like also to welcome you to this webinar. My name is, sorry, is everything okay?
Okay, you're good, Fotis. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. I have been a consultant for hedge funds and high net worth individuals, and basically I like to create and trade my own trading models and ideas. But now, let's move on to some very interesting and exciting information about Europe and the financial crisis.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. Get trading ideas, exchange rates, webinars, news, and commentary. Visit www.fxoptions.com. ISE FX options can be easily traded through all options-enabled brokerage accounts. These exchange-listed securities are cash-settled in U.S. dollars and have a European-style exercise.